Hi, this is I'll Explain. I will explain the Sinanju. Sinanju, model number MSN-006S, is an example of going forward by stepping back. Sinanju, despite being a mono-eye Xeon aesthetic all over, is a Gundam. Before being taken away by a new Xeon faction known as the Sleeves, Sinanju was Sinanju Stein, a Anaheim Electronics prototype based on the RX-93 New Gundam. As we have previously looked at, Sinanju Stein is built to test whether if cycle frame can be used as the main weight-bearing structure or frame for a mobile suit. That's why Sinanju Stein is built pretty much like a RX-93 New Gundam, but with a lot more thruster to test all kinds of operation stress, instead of mounting fin funnels or incomes. The result is positive. Cycle frame can be used as the main material for a mobile suit frame, known as full cycle frame, further saving the dry weight of a mobile suit. With that, Anaheim proceed with Project Unicorn and build the RX-0 Unicorn Gundams. Now back to Sinanju itself. The Sleeves took the two Sinanju Stein without a scratch. As the latest and probably the most powerful mobile suit in their possession, it is a no-brainer to have their leader, Colonel Full Frontal, to pilot it. However, as a faction of Neo Xeon, having a Gundam leading the charge or in commanding position is not on brand to say the least. And so the Sleeves decide to overhaul the Sinanju Stein, and the result is Sinanju. But why would I say Sinanju is going forward by stepping back? That is because Sinanju's external look is reminiscent of Sazabi, the mobile suit of Neo Xeon previous leader. Reason number one is because the Sleeves have been proclaiming Full Frontal as the return of Char or return of the Red Comet. To hammer the point home, they make Sinanju looks like the mobile suit that Char or the Red Comet was last seen in. Reason number two is because it is an overhaul in-house by Neo Xeon, with similar equipment and engineers. This is also the main reason why Sleeves decided to go with a whole new set of armor and equipment instead of just decorating the Sinanju Stein to be more Xeon-like. Even though Full Frontal is about as good a pilot as the legendary Red Comet, there would be inevitable damage or wear on the field of battle. So the Sleeves need to have a good supply of parts for the Sinanju to make sure the mobile suit that leading them into battle is in tip-top shape. Sure, the Sleeves and Neo Xeon can still source the parts from Anaheim. That's how they caught wind about Sinanju Stein in the first place, but the Sleeves and Neo Xeon wasn't exactly well funded. Who knows when would Anaheim sold them out? So Sleeves need to be able to get replacement and repair parts from more reliable source. The answer is pretty simple too. Take Sinanju Stein apart, keep the essentials and common parts, replace anything that are not in Neo Xeon supply chain with those that are. With Neo Xeon internal also means the armor and internal external look would become very much Neo Xeon-like. Reason number three is because if you don't already know, Sazabi is kind of a predecessor of the RX-93 New Gundam. They have very similar design requirements. Flagship mobile suit that is built larger for the inclusion of larger reactor thrusters, having cycle frame to enhance the controllability of the mobile suit itself, and control funnel weapons, and traditional aesthetic of respective force. And so when you give a new Gundam successor a Neo Xeon makeover, it would appear to be like Sazabi. The Neo Xeon aesthetics, as you can see from the pipes around the waist and other places, are not newly added. The Federation fuel motors and Xeon's pulse transmission are being widely hybridized and popularized with ARC Anaheim and Axis success with them. Even the Jagan uses these hybridized systems, although for the Federation they prefer not to show those pulse transmission pipes because that would be reminiscent of the Zaku. For Neo Xeon, however, they prefer to show it as much as possible, without recreating the obvious disadvantage that Zaku had ran into. Another reason why I said Sinanju is going forward by stepping back is because unlike Sasabi, Sinanju does not have any funnels or other remote weapon that requires a cycle mill system to control. Instead, the cycle mill system is used to control the full cycle frame directly, allowing the pilots of Sinanju to control it down to its fingertips. While Sasabi and New Gundam cycle mill system does allow new type pilots to control their mobile suit with their brainwaves, their cycle frame are only installed at major control substations, so part of the controls are still done with traditional mobile suit machine interface. In order to make Sinanju's full cycle frame retain more of the functionality when piloted by non-new types, Anaheim installed a new version of the biosensor called Intention System. Intention System, as its name implies, would attempt to read the pilot's mind and act on it automatically, without requiring the pilots to handle the menu controls. This is done because new type produce more consistent and stronger brainwaves, while non-new type does not. This means it is harder to read the exact thoughts of the non-new type pilot via their brainwaves and biometrics, but it is relatively easy to read if the pilot is in fight or flight and identify the source of their reaction. Although the intention system does run the risk of runaway firing, as the sleeves experienced when they had members of Full Frontal's bodyguard to test drive Sinanju for safety, it accidentally does a blue on blue because some emotional verbal exchange. But instead of lowering the sensitivity of the intention system, Full Frontal opted to use self-discipline and focus to overcome the risks, making him almost untouchable with the Sinanju, at least until Unicorn was unleashed. Now that we have gone through the how and why Sinanju is designed the way it is, let's take a closer look. Going from a Gundam face with two eyes to a Neo Xeon mono eye and a flat face. A blade antenna is added to signify the Sinanju is a mobile suit piloted by a commander, although you can still see the V-shaped antenna of the Gundam on the forehead, as it was on the Stein. The pipes around the chin are present on the Stein, but tucked behind the Gundam face instead of showing off like Sinanju here. The helmet or head armor shape is mostly unchanged, even the pair of Vulcans stays, which is not that surprising because some dedicated command mobile suit of Xeon does have Vulcans on their head. Then we move down to the torso, and we are immediately greeted by a golden Neo Xeon icon on the chest. You can see the chest fans are sealed up and the pipes are being exposed around the waist. In case I forgot to explain, the pulse transmission pipes are armored. That is why we can see the segmentations, because they are external armor used to protect the pulse transmission pipes while allowing them to be flexible. This is very much the chest design division between Federation and Xeon designs, although some Neo Xeon designs would have chest fans too, but when we get to those mobile suits. The chest is also one of the few places on Sinanju that remains relatively angular, pretty much because the design isn't too uniquely Federation. It is an Anaheim in-house project after all. Sinanju's skirts are very Neo Xeon looking, although mobile suit skirts design of the UC90s are pretty much the same for every side, except for aesthetics. Neo Xeon or Xeon factions would have more curved designs and transmission pipes. The legs have more floral patterns. These are more specific for the sleeves, although they are also used for some high-ranking officer or noble among Zeong forces, so it is rather fitting for the sleeves leader to have them. The thigh armor is replaced with more rounded ones instead of the angular ones on the stein. The lower legs itself also remain more angular because it does keep the legs in more slim profile. However, the thruster units on the side of the lower legs are very much Zeong looking, very much because they are prone to damage and wear. We can also see more pipes being exposed. Going back up to the arms, they are a lot more Zeong looking. There are even spikes on the shoulder flaps. They are actually useful for providing a bit more resistance against incoming attacks. Even in the UC-90s, these attacks are mostly beam-based. Bicep armor is replaced with rounded ones like the thighs, and we can see more pipes along the arms. The forearms have floral pattern on the waist, a signature of the sleeves. This practice is why they are called the sleeves, and other Zeong remnants would copy it to signify their support for the sleeves. The beam saber is still hosted on the forearms, but it is now covered by the armor piece. Sinanju also carry a beam saber on the right arm as well, again covered by the armor piece. The G-frame does not have the gimmick to show them, so we will look at those with other versions. And then we turn around to the backpack. Once again, the design itself remains the same as the stein, but armor parts are replaced with Neo-Zeong made ones. The flexible thruster appears to be bigger, probably because it's more an economical way to make them. They also make them into more segments, but this G-frame doesn't have this gimmick. We can see extra propellant tanks for extended operation, a common practice for high-performance mobile suit in the UC-90s. Note that these propellant tanks usually have their own apogee motors, keeping these mobile suits as agile or making them even more agile. Now it is the time for us to look at Sinanju's arsenal. And its lower once again reminiscent of the Sazabi. A long beam rifle, a pair of beam axes as well as pair of beam sabers, a grenade launcher in a large horse head shield, and a pair of falcons on the head. The falcons, like we have mentioned, are not completely alien to Zeong, and even more effective with the intention system, allowing them to hit specific weak spots accurately. The long beam rifle is very much Neo-Zeong made. It replaces the Neo Gundam type beam rifle again for ease of resupply. There are records that suggest Sazabi used a similar long beam rifle before the Axis shock. It is very much designed as a marksman's rifle, giving skillful pilots flexibility to use them for sniping, rapid firing, or full auto depending on the situation. Like we have talked about before, a long barrel on a beam rifle allows the beam bolt to be accelerated faster, and the thick jacket encases a bigger cooling system to cool the barrel, giving it faster cooling for a higher rate of fire. A large optic is installed, very helpful for sniping but also observation, if a bright red mobile suit is in a position to do so. The pair of beam sabers, like we have mentioned, are hosted inside the forearm armor. The two beam axes are hosted in the shield, and we can see the grenade launcher near the tip. This arrangement is similar to the Sazabi's shield, although Sazabi has missile launcher banks instead of a grenade launcher, and beam tomahawk instead of beam axes. Like the beam tomahawk, the beam axes can overpower regular beam sabers with their stronger eye field and beam output. Their beam blades can also deploy even in holster mode, giving the shield literal edge to attack with. Sinanju was piloted by Full Frontal during the rise of the sleeves, known as the Laplace conflict. Like we have mentioned before, Sinanju and Full Frontal were almost untouchable, winning battles that would be otherwise hopeless for the sleeves. All of that changed when RX-0 unicorn joins the fray. Sinanju not only met its match but overmatched, and was only be able to keep on top of the situation thanks to full frontal skill, at least until the unicorn's pilot have become very exceptional and defeat full frontal and Sinanju, despite the latter have upgraded with a mobile armor module, the Neo Zorg. Still, Sinanju has once again proven that the combination of mobility, agility, flexibility, and reflex is what makes mobile suits superior to traditional military vehicle format. While the intention system saw very little use outside of the Sinanju series, the use of biosensor did become more widespread, and more precise system that functions like intention system would be used for specialist mobile suits. Thanks for watching.